At long last, welcome back to the forge. As you can see behind me, I have a fire going now. I ended up getting an electric blower because I was having no luck with my hand crank. So today we're going to be working on making a hot cut tool out of this piece of steel. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go put it in the fire, and then I'll cut to me hammering away at it, trying to shape it into what essentially looks like an axe head. So when I got the iron in there, I pulled out my tongs and found out that it wouldn't fit. So I'm going to have to make myself a new set of tongs to work on this piece of steel right here. So that's what I'm doing now. So I feel it's worth pointing out, I've never actually made anything blacksmithing. So all of this is a learning experience for me, so I don't really know what I'm doing at all except for what I've seen in videos, and I'm trying to copy that. So what I'm doing right now with the piece of steel is I'm trying to draw it out a little bit because the pieces that I had were a little bit shorter than you would need for a set of tongs and a little bit thicker. So I'm hoping that I can draw out the end of it enough that I can get a set of tongs big enough to pick this up. One thing that I have noticed is that when I'm hammering away at the metal, little pieces of scale flake off, and if I don't clear them off the surface of my anvil, they'll actually embed themselves back into the piece of steel that I'm working on. So I've learned it is very important to make sure you do have a clean work surface. As you can see, mine is a little bit rusty, but actually just through hammering away, it's starting to clean up a little bit, so that's kind of nice. So I think the piece of steel is ready for the next heat. So you'll notice at the end of each heat, I try to straighten out the piece of steel. That's because the two pieces that I had were not the same length. So I'm trying to draw the shorter one out a little bit longer and match it up to the first one. And I'm thinking that the best way to do this is actually to take more material out of the handle portion so that the grabbing part of the tongs remains uniform in diameter, so that it has even strength on both sides. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do. Not sure that I'll be successful, but we're going to try it out anyways. So right now they're just about the same length. I'm holding them back here, and I don't know if you can see. The one on your left is slightly longer, and that's the one that was longer before. As you can see, I haven't hammered nearly as much. So I think we can give the one on your right a few more heats and see if I can draw that out just a little bit more, coming up further up into the handle. So I drew them out as far as I was going to, and then I forgot to turn the camera back on before I shaped the first one. But this is what each half is going to look like, roughly. I'm sure I'm going to have to do a little more shaping towards the end. But this is one half. So the other one's in the fire right now, and I will record it to show you what I did to get to this part. So the first thing I did was measure how long I wanted it to be, which ended up being from my hardy hole to the back of the anvil. Just made a little mark there. And then I started rounding over the horn of the anvil. And I started the bend back on the meteor part of the anvil, then work my way forward a little bit to get more of a crisp line. And I brought it to the flat part of the anvil, the face, just to straighten it out a bit. Right now what I'm doing is I'm comparing it to my first one to see how I'm doing, and I went a little bit too much, but I think that's gonna be okay because when I bend it back, it's gonna move a little bit. When you're dropping iron, don't try to pick it up. So now we have it nice and hot. We'll take it over the corner of the anvil and start bending it back the other way. Again, starting on the meatier part, then working my way towards the thinner part of the horn. And I'm gonna match it up. So, alright, match it up. And it's not quite perfect. Now that, the one that I just put in is pretty close. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to go back and straighten out that first bench just a little bit. But first, it was a little too angled, so I'm gonna open it just a little bit. Match it up again. See how I'm doing. Gotta do a little bit more. That is about perfect. Alright, let's match them up, see how they're doing. Good. Maybe just a little bit more of an angle than I have now. But not bad overall. Oh, alright. So, I don't know if you can see this, but those are pretty darn close. Slightly off, but well, they're a little more off that way. But you know, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm gonna proceed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make little shoulders on both sides here by putting it half on, half off the anvil right there and just hammering down, straight down on it. And I'm going to do them both the same way, because that'll make a mirror image, or not a mirror, but an identical image so that I can meet them up. I'm actually going to come in at a 45 with that. Kind of changed my mind a little bit. I'm going to lay the piece of steel down at a 45 this time and do the same thing to get that little shoulder there. But I'm hoping that by putting it at a 45, it'll make it so that it can open and close a little easier. Much better. I think because I knew what I was doing a little bit better. Had a little bit of experience, not much, but that seemed to go a lot smoother. I don't know if you can see, but there's a nice crisp line in there as opposed to this one, where you can see my first mark, but even more than that, it's kind of sloped instead of being nice and crisp. So let's see how they meet up now. I think that's going to be pretty good. For anybody watching at home, if you see something that I'm doing wrong or could do better, please let me know. This is the first time I've ever done this. The only thing I know is from reading books and watching various blacksmiths online. So, like I said, if you see something, just holler it out. I'll see if I can work on it. So now it's time to make a rivet. To do that, I'm just going to take this piece of bar and taper it out a little bit and hammer it around again. That's too much. Alright, let's try this again, see if it works. Oh, my tongs are starting to get hot too. So I have to hold them in the fire while I do this. So that's my way of steel toes. Oh yeah. Now it's not the prettiest thing you've ever seen, but it's working. That is awesome. So it almost looks like the head of a nail, and that's actually kind of how I got this idea. There's a YouTuber named Chandler Dickinson, and I'll put a link to his video in the bottom. So let's take a look at this. Now, like I said, it's not pretty, but just might work. Here we go. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to put this whole thing in the fire, get it nice and hot, so that I can rivet it together really well. Alright, let's see if this is ready to go. Woo! Get hot. Alright. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw that, but there were some sparks. Alright, let's open this up a little bit. Yeah, here they are. Wow, that's hot. So, here they are. They're certainly not pretty. I might work on shaping them just a little bit more, but I'm gonna have to turn the camera off today right now because I'm about to run out of battery.